Hello, welcome to the Evolve Vets podcast.
I'm Anna.
And I'm Bethany. Together, let's stop revolving and start evolving.
Welcome to the Evolve Vets podcast. I'm Anna.
And I'm Bethany.
And I'm Mike.
Mike. All right. So today we have a super fun guest for you guys. We know Mike from vet school. Texas
Yes.
A&M. You were in the class above us. So that was, you were 2017 grad.
Yes.
We were
I
2018.
think y'all were like in charge of every club, if I can.
Yeah, that's pretty much right.
Yeah.
That's
And I
very
was in,
on
like,
brand for
every
us.
club.
Yeah.
All the clubs.
All the clubs.
Guilty.
Guilty.
I was like, man, when did they study? I was just watching them run around.
Never. Yeah. Literally all the time.
We just didn't sleep. That's what we
I
sacrificed.
just did intramurals and went out to parties. So.
Yeah, no, that's great. And so then we didn't really know each other in vet school very much, but a few years out of school, I guess this was maybe a year or 2 years ago, I heard you on a podcast, and I heard you on it. My husband heard you, because he's a financial planner for vets, and so he heard you on there. Then I listened, and I was like, oh my god, like this. Well, one, I know you. Two, this is such a cool idea. It kind of you just had this raw passion for doing things differently and being an actual disruptor, not just talking about disruption, but you opened your own clinic in Wimberley, and you're doing things very different, which we'll get into. And I just have so much respect for that. And it really came across on the podcast, just how excited you were by what you were doing, and then also how successful it's been as far as attracting talent and having clients. And so now you have your second practice in Austin, Texas with Apollo Vets. And so I'll let you take it from here, but we're super excited to dive into a lot of things.
We're so happy you're here.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and all that, I ate a lot of humble pie to figure out how to get here too.
You have some good stories. So
I have some insane stories. Yeah.
Let's dive
everything
in.
From I had VC firms wanting to buy me out in the first year.
Wow, the
everything,
first year.
and going down that role. But yeah, I just so part of my message I like to give young vets too is one of empowerment of I graduated with. Do you remember at A&M we had this awards at the end of the year?
Yes.
You could win. I won a dermatology award, and I was like, what is this award? And I showed up, and I was like, cool, thanks, Dr. Patterson. And they handed me a $2,000 check, and I was like, oh my god, this is so much money. So I graduated with $2,000 and $160,000 in debt, and I was like, I'm gonna be a practice owner. So yeah, it was just purely my goal in my career was be a practice owner as soon as possible, and that is what led me down this path.
How did you know that was something you were called to?
I just didn't know there was another option, to be honest with you. I remember first day of physiology in that old exam room or classroom that I
201?
think is torn down at this point too.
Yeah.
And I sat down, and nobody in the vet industry in my family, I sat down, I was like, okay, so you want to own a practice? And she was like, no, not at all. I was like, oh, okay, nobody wants to own practices here.
Just
I
me.
just thought that's what you did. And but for me, it was I love to be autonomous, and I love to do things my own way, and it just made sense. And I love small business, so really that was okay, 3 to 5 years after graduation, I'm gonna be a practice owner. And so having that goal, I just kept making steps after graduation. So I don't know, a little bit of naivety too,
Right.
to that question.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, sometimes that's what drives you, right? If you have you just enough ignorance to do it.
yeah. And one of the biggest things I did, do you know Travis Hornsby? He has the student loan financial planner guy. I was working 2 jobs out of vet school, hammered away my student loans, and I signed up for one of his one-on-one coaching. And I was like, hey, Travis, I want to pay off all my debt in 3 to 5 years and own a practice in 3 to 5 years. He's like, you can't do both. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And I hate when people tell me I can't do both.
Of course.
I couldn't do both. So he told me what the bank wants to see. He's like, they need to see liquidity if they're going to give you a loan and stuff. And so that completely changed my trajectory, probably by 5 to 10 years. And so my next 3 years, I was fully into saving mode. And then I can tell you that story of how I got $500,000 loan very, very easily, which is really scary, but it's very exciting for vets.
Tell us.
Yes, tell us everything.
So
how to get $50 million.
yeah, that's
what we're
so I just remember I graduated in 2017, worked for a guy downtown, and it was kind of the old MO, come work for me and I'll sell you the practice. And after about a year and a half, I saw that like really wasn't happening. So I was like, oh crap. So I went over out into West Austin, Lakeway, took another job, realized, okay, actually I want to start a clinic, because that's when kind of prices got really high, like right as COVID starting. And so I called Covetrus and I just talked to the rep and I was like, what do I need to start a vet clinic? Like equipment wise. He's like, son, why don't you talk to a bank first? And I was like, okay. And I called the bank and she was like, okay, what you need 3 years out of vet school. And I was like 3.5. I was like, check. And she was like, you need like above a 720 credit score. I was like, I have that. Excellent. And she was like $74,000 in cash. And I literally like had been stocking away for the past 3 years. I checked my bank account and I had like 75,000. She's like, cool. And like literally in 6 days, I had like a $500,000 loan. It was
wow.
so easy. Like, no money down. It was like too easy. And they don't just give you like $500,000, but, and so then I was just kind of thrust in the position. She's like, okay, well, here's a real estate agent. Go find a place. And I was like, okay, find a place. It's like, here's the next thing, just kept going and going.
Wow.
Can I ask a question? I mean, that's fascinating. So I'm here in Austin because my husband's at a financial planning conference, right? And it's actually a network that he's a part of called XYPN. Okay. And so what they do is they're this platform that helps solo advisors start their practice. And so they help them, which is like, how do you open your own financial planning firm? How do you do compliance? Like, what do your operations need to look like? What software should you use? How do you work with clients and provide them a good experience? All of those things that seem like really helpful if you're going to go off on your own. Yeah. So if you're doing that as a veterinarian, like who's helping you? Is there a service like that exists? Where do you recommend people go?
At least when I was doing this, and this was I was starting seriously in 2020 or like late 2019, there was nobody unless you wanted to pay like a consultant, like $10,000 to $15,000, which I just couldn't do at that time. Two of my big mentors, Dr. Firehouse guy, I would just take him out to like happy hour and I'd be like, hey, y'all mind if we go eat dinner, and just ask them all the
Pro tip.
Pro tip, find a mentor.
But I remember like, I knew what I wanted to practice. I started with kind of the client experience in mind and I wanted to build it kind of backwards from that. And so I called one of the consultants and I go, okay, like I'm going to start a practice. I just don't know what to do. I have a lot, like that's all I know. And I have like a building, like what do I do? And he was like, well, you're going to use Avamarker Cornerstone. And I was like, thank you for your time. Like,
this is not it. Like, this is not the answer.
No. So I was like, I want remote staff. I want to do, no reception, anything like that. And I was like, okay, I don't think what I want is even a thing at this point. But I did not actually open it to be an open concept clinic. That's just how I practiced. I was like, I just want the clients to come back and see what we're doing. I have nothing to hide. It's not pretty some of the times, but what do I got?
But it's honest.
Yeah, exactly. And so then we just started getting like a higher amount of referrals because they're like, I heard you're the vet that allows you in the back. And I was like, oh, is this a thing? And so then we kind of ran with it. But yeah, I just really focused on that. But there was nobody around to like talk through how do you do contracts with Antec or IDEX, these huge like multi-year deals that they want you to do. And you have no idea. Like you don't even know if you're going to be successful. You're signing at least your next 5 or 6 years away. All of that, by the way, is negotiable. So
good to know.
So there's not a lot. I think there's more now. One cool thing about social media is I have now connected with so many young vets. Like every week I talk to a young vet that wants to start in practice.
Amazing.
Do you? That want to start a practice? Tell us more. What are you hearing from them?
Yeah.
How old are they?
Like,
or how many years out of school?
They're probably on average within like 3 to 4 years out of school. And like, I think there's going to be this big wave of independent owners that are coming along. And I don't know if COVID kind of jaded people or showed people the money you can make. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I think a lot of them are like, we want to do something a little bit differently. We just don't know how to do it. And so I get this pendulum of where do I even start, all the way to I have everything planned out. Like what do I do next kind of thing. And so it's really kind of fun to talk through and see, their thoughts, and I kind of steal some ideas and they steal some of mine. And we kind of just collaborate a lot more. It seems like these days, which is nice. Because our industry can be kind of like gatekept.
There's a lot of gatekeeping that we've experienced, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that's why we're so big on empowering veterinarians and sharing information. I mean, just like the practice is open concept, it sounds like you're very transparent with sharing information. And we believe a rising tide lifts all boats, right? And so if you have information, share it.
I opened in a small, like, you opened in Wimberley. It's a small town. At the time, there were 3 other vet clinics there. And like, one is shut down, not because we put him out to business or anything, he retired, But there's plenty to go around too. Like there really is. And we all offer different things and have our own flavor. And clients that go to the other guys may not like my stuff and vice versa.
Of course. Yeah. Some owners might not want to be in the back. That transparency might be a little scary.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And like for us, we have offsite reception because I really wanted to focus on you as the client when you walk in. And some people hate that. They want to call and be able to like speak to the vet like immediately kind of thing. Like you guys do a good job at that. But I just don't have like the room for that.
Yeah.
As far as like a full reception and stuff. So, you know, there's some learning lessons and all that, but yeah, it's been an interesting process.
So you were mentioning social media. Tell us a little bit more because you're Insta vet famous now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I started with the Apollo Instagram. And so for me, I knew we weren't going to get new clients from Instagram just posting organically. It's just not really like how it works there. I knew it would keep our clients at least loyal and get to see the team. But for me, I wanted it to be like an advertisement if you wanted to work at Apollo. So for me, it was like, okay, if I go and I apply to a company, I'm going to go look at their website. I'm going to go look at their socials just to see what it looks like. And so when you do that, I wanted you to be able to see behind the scenes, like see the culture, see the environment that you actually be working in. And that's been really fruitful. So we kind of have a rule, like really no graphics, no just straight puppy pictures all the time. It always has to have like a team member in it. Always has to be usually a video kind of thing. So we want to show what it feels like, what it looks like, what it sounds like to work there. And that's been awesome because now we just have stacks of resumes for technician jobs.
Amazing.
All those things. So it's been very, very good.
So tell us a little bit about the culture that you're trying to share through social media. Like how did you found that? What are your principles?
When you guys maybe like saw this at Veg a little bit, but for me, what I found and what was really interesting is my techs now have really strong relationships with our clients. Like there are clients that come in, they're like, hey, we want this tech to do this thing on our dog. And it's because they've seen them work and how they work with our technicians. And for me, it was more of an empowerment. I want to come in and showcase like what you can do. I'm very, very heavy on, I want to do my doctor things and I want you to do like pretty much everything else. And that requires a lot of skills too. So, you know, full anesthesia, giving all the injections, doing all these things in front of the owner in the room or out in treatment. And so it really empowers them to kind of upskill and then showcase their skills, which I think is kind of cool.
I love it.
The biggest thing. But on the personal side, that's been a whole funny thing. I don't know how I'm doing on it, but it's a weird process.
Like, because you've had to replicate it at Austin. So
yeah. And for me, I remember I ran this ad. So right before I opened in Wimberley, it was like 10 o'clock at night. I spent 3 hours filming like a 30-second Facebook ad. And it was like literally a tripod with my phone. And I had no furniture. And I was like, hi, I'm Mike Walker. And I'm opening Apollo Vet. And this is how I want you to feel like when you come here. And it was like 30 seconds. I had a script. I just could not do it. And it's so funny to look back on those days. I just had to go through it. And now I take like 20 minutes to do the script. But you just got to start somewhere and start posting and be authentic about it.
Yeah.
You know? So that's my biggest recommendation. But it's been fun. I incorporate a lot of the team in my personal Instagram and they absolutely love it. And it's been a good, like kind of a team building activity.
any tips for social media for the vets listening who maybe want to start to get opportunities through social media?
I think like it's the old adage that like you do so many cool things every day, just like talk about it. But I think people will love to hear that and hear the real you. And so I have these series where I try to just like blast a really complicated topic in like 60 seconds, like you're the POV of the client kind of thing. And every time I do it, like my rule is one take. We don't get to edit it. Like that's what gets posted. And I sit there and it's so funny. The comments are always like, I'm just going to play this to the owner when it comes up. Or someone's like, well, I actually do this. And so I'm like, I don't even know if I'm doing good medicine.
You're like, I'm just doing my best and sharing what I know.
You know, there are so many different beliefs out there too, and opinions. And like I made a post about surgery, about fewer vets doing surgery these days. And it got like a ton of heat on it. And it was more about like access to care, but like I believe in those things. Like I really, like part of Apollo is we want to really empower our vets to do surgery so we can have access to care to our clients. And, you know, there's a lot of ECs out there that are very expensive and sometimes the clients can't afford it. And so
Absolutely.
we really want to teach our vets how to do splenectomies and RNAs and go for PUs, those kind of
Nice.
things. And
Amazing.
It started a whole mentorship firestorm on social media, it seemed like. And it was an interesting conversation, but yeah, like I was like, maybe I should take down this post. Everyone's getting mad at me and stuff. But no, it is what I believe. And, we'll talk about it. And it's okay to disagree about things too. So
Of course.
out there.
Yeah. And no, I think that's good, because even when you make a post like that, that's kind of controversial, it opens the door to having that conversation, which access to care is a huge topic right now. And I think it's okay to take a stance. There's not a right or wrong.
Yeah. And I had a ton of vets reach out and they're like, hey, or vet students, like, can I come do externships there to like, learn surgery?
Nice.
Yeah, sure. So
Are there any other controversial topics that you feel strongly about that you're like, I stand behind this?
Let's fear your soapbox.
So for me, I think, it really depends. I feel like an issue is people put so much of their identity in being a veterinarian that when they leave the job, they don't have anything else to look forward to. And a lot of that, I think, leads to maybe some dissatisfaction in life too, because you put so much onus on one thing making you happy, and sometimes that's not realistic. And our job is not always happy. And so if your benchmark is like, I need to be happy all the time, then that's wrought for disappointment, in my opinion. So you're talking to someone who also lived in RV for 2 years straight and worked like 6 days a week at the clinic. So
you were committed.
Yes.
Yes, very committed.
But I think it's not fair 100% to put work-life balance all on your workplace to provide that. Like, you need to take your own ownership over that. But yeah, that seems like a little bit hotter of a topic.
I think that's what we actually teach in coaching is you need to understand what your core values are, and it's your responsibility to set the boundary, to show up for yourself, to do the hobby that makes you feel creative and inspired, because then you're able to show up to work more present and have that balanced lifestyle.
Yeah, no, I think it's true. And having those conversations with your employers, like I've talked to some of my vets and, I love surgery. And one of mine came to me and she's like, I truly just have true anxiety every time I do surgery. And she did it in such a good way. She laid out financially what she could do for the clinic if she went off surgery and rooms and all these other things. And, she advocated for herself and I agreed to it. And
that's amazing.
Very cool.
Too. Looking back on that, if I were at a different phase of my ownership, I would be like, no, you got to do it. And that wouldn't have worked out in the long run. So, and I still have a really, really good doctor in that. So yeah, I think it's a two-way street for sure.
It is.
Especially like culture of a clinic, all those things. When we hire somebody from doctor to technician assistant, we can say like, hey, like culture is a two-way street. Like we'll set up the environment as best as possible, but you have to show up and give your best as well to contribute to that culture. We kind of have a code of conduct that we live by at Apollo, as far as like gossiping, how we want to treat each other, how we want to work effectively, all of those things. And we hold each other accountable to that.
What's an example of the accountability piece in your hospital?
Yeah, so we have a really cool document. It's called the Apollo Way, and it talks about like our mission, where we're going, our core values, and then it has this like 2 pages of just like code of conduct, and everybody after your 90 days you contribute to it. So you say like, this is like, it doesn't matter work or life, but this is how we want to like be around people. And so for me, one of my biggest like code of conduct is like, I want to walk in, I want to get more into my team. Like I don't want to work in a place where everyone just like has their head down, walks past each other. So we really like try to empower like, hey, this is a living, breathing document for you guys. And sometimes I walk in and I'm thinking about $90,000 credit card bill I got to pay. And I'm like, just looking down and someone's like, hey, Dr. Walker, like, hey, you didn't say hey. And I'm like, they call me out on it. I'm like, yes, you're right. Sorry.
Hello, good to see you.
and that's the thing. And it's, I got this from Dr. Christine Stott, and she's so great. She's like, if someone says that, all you can say is like, thank you, I appreciate it. You can't go then like try to justify it or anything. But it's hard. Culture is like an everyday thing you have to work on. You don't just have a good culture and set it. Like I've seen the clinic culture go off within like days, if we don't get ahead of it. So it's having those hard conversations. I'm very, very bad at those. I was in my first phase of practice ownership, a very big people pleaser. I just wanted everyone to be really, really happy. And it was the worst thing for the team. They needed somebody that respectively held them accountable, and had good boundaries and showed them what the expectations actually were and let them get there. I have really good director of operations and managers now that I actually learn a ton from when I watch them talk to people. Can I sit in on this?
You're like, I need to take notes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so that's my like thing. We talked a little bit about, vets starting clinics and knowing all the things. And I think the key is you don't need to know all those things. You need to surround yourself with people that are always probably a little bit better than you. So I have some really, really good people on the team. We talked about Dr. Modak, all that we sit in meetings and I just like listen and I'm just learning. I'm like, how you both up contributing to me? So, but yeah, that's always been my philosophy. If I don't know it, I'm going to hire for it, even if it hurts the bottom line. Like I know in the long run, it'll really help us. So.
Yeah, I think that's the right approach.
Amazing.
You have to always be learning and be humble, because it's easy to just kind of think that like there's so much involved that like, how could I ever do that? How would I know how to do the finances? How would I know how to do the inventory? Like it's easy to think about the whole picture and get really, really overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And you kind of mentioned this, like you need to have this naivete when you start. And I think that's the best thing is if you're just like, no, I want to do this, I will figure it out along the way. Just trusting yourself.
To put people's mind at ease, I still to this day have not made a business plan. So like, it's all doable.
Just one step at a time.
It's just a distraction. You don't need to do it. No plan needed. And you still got the loan.
The funniest piece of advice I got from a mentor, and he was like, if you just open a clinic and you're just like baseline like kind to people, like you will be successful. He was like, the bar is so low.
The bar is so low.
No. And I was like, oh no, that was like really true.
It's actually very true. But that's great. And so, I mean, when you, right, but like when you think about it, why are more vets not opening practices? I mean, can you talk about the financial piece of it and what the, outcomes could be?
I'm sure there's a lot of factors, but I honestly think it comes down to, it's just like the lack of knowledge. And vets are very data-driven people, I feel like. They're usually type A, top of their class. They want to have all their information before they take it. And a lot of it, you can't get all the information. And so, I go around to a lot of the BBMAs and I give them that timeline from 2017 to now to show them like, hey, do you remember at A&M when they emailed us third year and like, hey, do you want to know your class rank? I recently learned the top 10, didn't get that email. They just went to a separate ceremony. Obviously, I don't know if you guys were in.
I was not in that ceremony.
I told one of my doctors, Dr. Burns, she graduated a year above me. I was like, do you remember that email? She was like, no. And I was like, everybody got that email. She was like, I don't think you got it if you were in like the top of your class. I was like, never mind.
Good for you. Glad you're on my team.
Yes.
So happy you're here.
I was like, if I can do it, I'm like, kid like set in the back and probably didn't pay attention enough. Like if I can figure this out, you can.
You can too. Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing is don't overwhelm yourself. Just bet on yourself because you're super smart. You have the skill set, and just make the first choice. Like call the bank. What do I need to do? Cool. That's what I need to do. You have your next options. Find the real estate. Cool. All these guys, all these companies have all the stuff you need to open a clinic pretty much on a list in their back pocket. So it's really not that hard. You just got to like kind of jump out and do it.
Yeah. I mean, as we're speaking, I'm thinking of talks and people who've had a really big impact on who've started a business, right? And then they come back and they talk to VBMAs kind of like you're doing. So Danny McVetti or David Bessler, who started Veg, right? They all in their presentations at the schools, they'll literally show a slide that's like, I failed this or I didn't pass it. And that's part of their story.
My biggest advice we have a lot of fourth years and third years that come through Apollo Vet pretty much every month through our externships. And they said, what do we need to work on over the next year to like get successful? I was like, don't pay attention to any of the medicine. Like figure out the communication. Like figure out how to talk to people. That is the most important skill you can have. It doesn't matter what industry. You need to be able to relate to people, get on their side, and work together to come to a solution. Doesn't matter if that's an employee or a client kind of thing. And so that's what I'm obsessed with when I graduated. I was reading like sales tactics and how to like win friends and influence people.
Number
Yes.
one.
To every doctor I start. And, so, and the thing about it is like we're all human and we have human nature on stuff. And one of my favorite quotes is there's a guy named Alex Hormozi. He's like a big...
Oh, yes.
We know.
One of my favorite quotes, he goes, the difference between manipulating somebody and helping them is your intention, right? And so if I go into a room and I'm just trying to like get the highest ACT or the most money and I'm using all these tactics, that's manipulative. But if I truly want to go in there, help that client, help that patient, knowing that the money will come if we do that the right way, like I'm going to use every power that I can to do that. So, I think really from my perspective, focus on those things because those will open a lot of doors if you can. But be very, very, very okay failing all the time. that is
We all fail along the way.
yeah. I remember like my first month out of vet school, I cut a foreign body from start to finish. Like it was my first case.
Ooh.
It was a cat foreign body. Yeah, like thought it was hot shit. And
Of course you were.
Ended up I missed like a whole other foreign body, and they had to go like recut at the ER that night and stuff. And I was like, oh, it hurt so bad. The clients were just kind of like, we don't want to see Dr. Walker again, rightfully so. But like I got back in there and I run every battle now, and I learned from my mistakes.
Yeah, those are hard. Like your stomach sinks. You're just like, oh my God, this is only me. It only happens to me. Like,
you're not the only one.
Yeah.
We all have those moments.
Yeah.
And we like in our doctors, like our philosophy with our new grads that come, it's like, hey, I want you to be in a position where you're getting a little uncomfortable, but I'll always be there to back you up. Like that is how kind of my mentorship philosophy is. It's like you need to put yourself in a scenario where you're maybe not that ready, but knowing that you have this whole team behind you to catch your head before you hit the ground, kind of thing. And like I was super proud of one of my vets recently. She was doing a gastropexy and something happened with the diaphragm. I think we just cut up too high, and a pneumothorax happened, and we fixed it all, and it was great. And I was like, hey, do you need to like take the surgery? Are you good? And it was like, I think there was a splenectomy coming in. She's like, no, I'll do it. Like jump back in the forest.
Wow.
Super proud. And,
Amazing.
That's amazing.
so many vets would just like quit surgery.
Yeah. Good for her. But that's where you get paralyzed. If you have to prove to yourself that you are capable of doing it and that you can move past the adversity.
I didn't even know. I was talking to some of my classmates, and there was one that I guess just never got mentorship in surgery, and to this day she just doesn't do it. And it's not that she never didn't want to; she just never got the like exposure. And it's just for me that's really sad, because part of what I love about being a vet is we can do whatever we want, and like
it's the best part.
You guys are like, you can build whatever you want, like. And I love a specialist, but I would hate being a specialist because I'm stuck doing one thing for the rest of my career. And so, that's the beauty of it. Get in there, like use your skills, use your brain. We have the best job in the world, in my opinion. So.
Completely
Totally
agree. That's why we wanted you on the pod, because we're like, he brings the love of that energy that we have too.
Other profession where you get to use your brain, your hands, like you get to play with animals, get to see people at their best and at their worst, like. It's such a noble profession, and like if you do it the right way, you can make very good money too in a very ethical way. So that's like a win-win-win for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, it's so good. One of the things that Bethany and I were talking about before is that we've seen a lot of practice owners who maybe are a little bit more on the cynical side, or they're exhausted, or just you model clinic ownership in a very different way. And I think that's really appealing and exciting for kind of our millennials, our Gen Zs, the younger vets.
It's so inspiring.
Yeah.
It's so inspiring.
It is. It like makes me want to go open a practice. Tell us why. That's why. You just only remember the good stuff.
I know it works too.
I'm not from like, okay, what's next?
All right, we're gonna get through it.
Well, I've had an employee murdered. Like I've had $60,000 lawyer bills come due. Like there's been some like crazy things where it's just like, why am I here doing this? And then like, okay, I got to see this room. Let's keep going, kind of thing. And I think you have to like, it goes back to bet on yourself. Know you're gonna fall on your face. For me, it's remind yourself why you're doing it. Be it your family, to build the clinic for 10 years and sell it to, I don't know, whatever your reason is. Like. Always remember that, and because there will be some dark times where you will lose sight of that completely. But and then you just keep going.
Yeah,
It's like it's bigger than you. Like, and at the end of the day, I love reminding myself that death is certain. It's all going to end at some point. So
it's certain.
Seriously.
Yeah. Let's have fun with it and make it enjoyable.
Yeah,
yes, absolutely.
And, I've had team members where it's like. It didn't work out with them. I'm like, hey, this is too short for us to sit here and be in a happy relationship. Like, let's figure this out or let's not. That's okay too. Like, doesn't mean you're a bad person or I'm a bad person. Let's just
not
figure it out. So, and I've had failed partnerships and all those kind of things. But at the end of the day, I think I just try to have I love to think about resilience as a business owner and as a vet. Like when you're first out, remember like that first botch case and you just thought about it for like a month, and then like the second botch case you're like, all right, 2 weeks, and like, Like resilience is the
Yeah.
where you get back to normal baseline. How
Yeah.
quickly you do
1000%.
that.
Yeah, your bounce
So,
back rate.
like yesterday, our South Austin clinic got its first like 2-star review, and like it was a very detailed review. And Mike, like 3 years ago, would have been like tearing through the pages. Oh my god, we're going out of business! Like horrible. And I was like, well, we got a new practice manager. It's a good learning moment for her how to deal with a bad review and stuff. And it's just funny. I kind of caught myself. I was like, well, I'm not like freaking out.
Who am I? I'm so mature. Good job, Mike. Yeah, good job.
So yeah, I think it's just, it's just like in vet med, you know what to treat because you see patterns over and over again and you adjust and learn from them. So just have a goldfish memory. That's my recommendation.
Great advice. Goldfish memory.
Yeah.
I've heard that advice before, and it's so applicable. Like the ability to forgive and forget is huge.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Mike, tell us a little bit more about how you lead the culture in your hospital, and as a business owner, like how you attract talent, and then what you would recommend to, veterinarians who are interested in maybe being employed by a small business owner or practice owner.
So I think for me, I want to build a facility that's nice to work in. Like that's kind of like my baseline minimum. My first job out, I was like ducking into exam rooms, but really have a place where they feel a part of something bigger and part of a team. I don't like the word family. We're not a family. It's not.
I like to say high performing sports team.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, a pro sports team. And so for practice owners that are looking at attracting talent, look at your whole business as a whole. Like, is it somewhere that people want to be? Like, the fact of the matter, it's gone are the days where just like, hey, there's a vet clinic, I'm going to go there and work after vet school. Like, we want to go somewhere that we want to be and stuff. And so I was talking to a conference that was full of practice owners a couple of years ago. And generally, like, a practice or a veterinarian should add at least like $100,000 to your bottom line on that. And so it's like, what can you do renovation wise to make your practice at least nicer looking kind of thing? Because there's a lot of practices that are a little bit outdated. And start there because you want to attract talent that way. And then for me, it's giving veterinarians that want the type of opportunity to really upskill and grow. We talk about that a ton with our candidates and externships that we bring in. We don't have the financial ability to pay top tier or put in $50,000 or $100,000 sign-on bonuses, but we're still able to recruit pretty well besides that. And so, we talked a little bit about it beforehand. I think you need to, if you're a young vet, look at the job and say, is this really going to upskill me as a veterinarian, or is it going to be a place where I earn money? And it's okay if you're in a financial place in your life, you need to earn money, but if you upskill pretty quickly, the money will come pretty easily too, in my opinion. So with our interviews we have, it's like, hey, we may not be able to like pay you or have that sign-on bonus you're getting offered over there, but what is the mentorship going to be like? And so we've done a ton at Apollo Vet to try to help that mentorship. We talked a little bit about one of my vets just elevated to a position where she is now fully in charge of mentorship. And that's money out of the company's bottom line, but that's something that I think will help us grow really well in the future. And now these vets have a direct person to go to anytime they have any questions and know they'll be there, and that's part of our job too. So that's why I also love practice ownership. I can do whatever I want. I can make all these decisions. It just, I have to sacrifice either my time or money, and sometimes both, and that's okay. But that's on me, and that's not on somebody else I have to answer to.
Autonomy is such an important, an important thing for you, it sounds like.
I don't know if I could sell a parent equity anytime. I wouldn't like to be told what to do. I know
that is very true.
That's fair. Yeah. That's fair.
But yeah, so that's a big thing. Go to a place that you feel like you're truly going to get the most out of learning, getting the skills that you want to learn. Some vets just don't want to do surgery, or they don't want to do dermatology or whatever. I guess that's okay. Just find the practice that can support you, which is a whole nother topic. We want to talk about finding that right practice.
We can. Yeah, tell us more.
Tell me more. Y'all been out just as long. How can you find a practice that everyone says they give mentorship? How can vets actually find a practice that give mentorship?
Part of the secret that I like to apply is actually interviewing the people that work there and asking questions. Hey, what's your experience been like? Do you actually find that there's mentorship? If I was in the middle of a surgery, would you come in and help me if I needed it? Asking questions like that. I don't know. Anna, do you have any tips?
I was thinking the exact same thing. I would ask the people who are already working there, who've gone through that same mentorship, and ask them about it, because vets will be honest. I mean, they will. I've seen vets at those practices be like, nope, I would. I'd go do an internship. Like,
yeah, we have all of our externs, and if I have some of the vets I've hired that, hey, can I come spend a week or two there, like making sure this is a good fit? I'm like, sure, that's awesome. And so part of those processes is we have at least one lunch where all the vets go out to lunch without me. Like I'm not there, so they can just like chew and get all the secrets and stuff too. And so
they want the tea.
I'm always like, how was it?
Do you still like working here?
Yeah.
Are they gonna sign?
Yeah. So
it's amazing.
100%. But I guess for me, like at Apollo, we're not going to be a place where you come and do like 12 weeks of wellness only. And then you get some like sick visits. Like I graduated and I'm a doctor. I want to be a doctor and stuff. And so for me, I love surgery. And so typically with our new grads, you're in surgery with me for the first like month or two, where the first couple of weeks is you're scrubbing in, I'm teaching you all the techniques. And then I'm kind of your just support from there on. And then eventually I don't even scrub in, but I'm like directly available the whole time. So that process is usually, it can be anywhere up to like 2 to 3 months. But we're really intentional. So our vet that's in charge of mentorship, we have a leadership meeting every single week purely about mentorship, where the vets are, what we need to work on, making sure we're like a cohesive unit, saying the same thing. So, dad's not saying one thing and mom's not saying another.
Yes.
And, so we're very, very intentional on making sure that they're making the right steps, but we're also not like hand holding them too. I think there's like a really fine balance where they become dependent on you. And so it's tough. Like our new grads in the South Austin clinic, we're starting to pull back like a little bit and say like, hey, have you checked your references, your resources? Have you talked to the other vets in the practice first? And they're like, fine, okay, I'm gonna run. They get it's from a good place, but like, I will always be here kind of thing. So.
And you can do it on your own. Yeah. And I believe in you.
For sure. So, but yeah, there's so many different flavors. I agree, like really talk to the team, not just the owner or the recruiter about mentorship for sure.
Yeah, good advice. Yeah. So switching gears a little bit, I'm curious to know what drives you. Like why do you wake up every day excited, or however, what gets you through the hard times? What is your why?
I have many different passions, and every season I seem to have a different passion too. I don't know if this is some childhood trauma or something, but I always want to be building and growing. And I love like seeing things come and ideas and visions. I'm a very good like visionary. The details I'm not that good at. Ask my director of operations. She picks up all the things that I try to like put down behind me and does a very good job. Thank you, Maria. But for me, I was a product of the 2008 recession. Like I saw my dad lose his job, like kind of at the tail end of his career, and was in and out of jobs for the next like 10 to 12 years. And while he never was not well off or anything after that, like I never wanted to be in that position. So my mindset is like, I'm gonna work really, really hard at the beginning of my career to maybe be like not in that position or something. And so that's been a big driver, I think, for me. But now it's kind of morphed into, it's like, okay, like we built the business. Now for me, I talked a little bit about like 12 or 14 months in, I had a VC firm come and offer like an insane amount of money, and they wanted to build like 5 Apollos a year. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, you're going to be worth this much in 3 or 4 years. Whoa. And we started like talking and kept flying their jet out to Wimberley like 3 different times. I was like, okay, this is getting serious. And then I started to see like how the Excel sheets work kind of stuff. And they go, well, how can we, get this much debt in this many years? And some guy on an Excel sheet would crunch a number. He's like, okay, got the revenue. I'm like, that's not how business works. You can't just change a column. And I was like, oh, I get it. You got to like expand hours with your support staff, make the doctor see more patients. And that kind of left a weird taste in my mouth. And now it's kind of turned into, it's like, how can we make like a really cool company in our little part of the world that's affecting change? Like, I know there's not going to be Apollos all over the nation, but like, what can we do in our community of vets in Central Texas and make a good reputation about? And so that's been the kind of fun driver for me lately is how do we kind of take this to not like necessarily the size next level, but just like the clinic and industry leader like next level. And I don't know what that means 100%, but I'm trying to gather people to figure that out. So.
Yeah. Like, do you mean that like in Wimberley or in Austin, you get a lot of fulfillment with being a staple in the community, being like that part is really
yes. Yes, it's really fun. In Wimberley, it's way more of a tight-knit community than Austin, and we can't really go out to dinner now and like not see our clients, which is fun. Sometimes I wear my hat in HEB because I just want to go get my groceries and not talk to about pets, but that's okay. But yeah, it is really like we're really involved in the community. It's really nice to be a part of something. What's been kind of fun though, because I worked like clinically 6 days a week for 2 years straight, and I like burnt the heck out of myself. And now I pull back, and what's been a really fun thing is I'll go out in the community and we'll be talking, and someone has a dog like, oh, we go to Apollo Vet, and I'm like, never even seen you before, and they're like, your staff is so kind, is what they say, and like that's always, like such a huge like compliment to me. Is like baseline, all the vet clinics do pretty dang good medicine, you know, for the most part. We all have the same lab machines, all those, but how do you feel when you come to the vet clinic? I think that's the big differentiator. And so that really is as a huge driver. It's like, okay, we are like, dude, it's not just relying on me. Like we're building a business that people are actually responding to. So that's a really big motivator for me. So, but drivers, I love to travel too. So yeah, I didn't do a lot of traveling in the first couple of years, but really it's like I get to pay my own way. And sometimes like right now we're in a season, one of my doctors on maternity leave, or I'm just working more, and that's okay. And then other seasons I'll be able to, you know, work 1 day a week, and I have the power to change that, which is really empowering to me. So yeah, building just really whatever I want.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to me, like how originally you were like, oh, I don't really see any other option. You know, maybe I'm building this business like because I want to make sure, you know, I'm protected. And now it's transitioning into this abundant mindset of like, wow, I'm like serving the community. I'm making a safe place for veterinarians to come learn and have mentorship. And we're doing things that are innovative, bringing the customer into the back and showing them everything. And it's beautiful to see that like abundance for people who are maybe interested in starting their own clinics and like how they can have the autonomy to build what makes them feel connected to their people and the pets there too.
Well, and it's like, don't get me wrong too. It's like, I would love to have a war chest of like $10 million to these like initiatives. And so the tough thing is how do we do this, you know, while relying on cash flow to make it work and stuff. And, you know, there is like give and take too. And in part of, we talked a little about private equity and what it's doing. It's, you know, everyone's saying vet bills are going higher. And of course, you know, that is true. That is happening. And, you know, we unfortunately as independent practice owners have to like ride those curtails up because it's market dictations on that. So it's like, you know, if the urgent care or the new PE chain opening up is paying, you know, $30 an hour, I can't get employees for less than that. So,
of course,
you know, and they'll be able to sell cost of goods for this price, and I don't get it for that price, and so I have to raise my prices. And so it's a hard balance to try to figure out, but it's definitely doable. And so when I was really discouraged when I was about to start, I saw, you know, the Bond Vets and the small animal, and they were doing these beautiful mid-century modern like vet clinics, and I was like, I want that. But me and my dad are drilling holes for a display case like in the front lobby kind of thing. And so, but afterwards I was like, you know what, we're our own place. Like we don't have to be anybody else. Like it's okay to start bare minimum and work our way up. Yeah, and it's okay. You don't have to like start with this beautiful thing right from the get-go. Like if you come into our clinics now, like you have TVs on the wall and stuff. Like we had one TV, and that was my personal TV that I put up on the wall, and my bar stools are over there at the like our concierge and stools in Wimberley are my old kitchen bar stools. So it's like it's okay.
Humble beginnings. Yeah, right? Humble beginnings.
But it's like character. That's what people want nowadays. You want to go into the coffee shop that's local, that has all the local stuff. And I think people feel the exact same way as far as veterinarians as well.
And one of the best compliments we ever got was, they were like, it feels like an old-timey vet here. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, this isn't bright. Like, I got kind of like upset about it. I was like, we're kind of modern. Feels like, he's like, no. It's like, you let us come in the back. You really talk through things. Show us what you're doing. I was like, oh, okay, I get that there.
I like this answer.
I
Acceptable.
was like, what are you like? This is open and airy. You can see through the glass and everything. So yeah, I was like, never mind. I do like that. We are a modern old-timey vet. That's what we're calling
modern old-timey vet.
So,
we love it. Any advice to maybe a new grad or the women community that's out there?
Oh, man, I just know like there's so many people that want everyone to succeed. Like I think there's so many limiting beliefs on what you can do in this industry, and truly, like you guys are testament. Y'all are forging a path that I don't know if anybody else has done either. Like it is it is truly like an industry where you can write your own ticket. If you put in the work, like you got to put in the work, just like anything else, but you truly can. Like you've been on the administrative side, like you're now running your hospitals and stuff too. And now y'all are starting this business. And I think it's something where it's like, don't get discouraged if in the first 2 tries you kind of strike out where you're working. Like keep plugging away, because there is a clinic for everybody, or there's a situation for everybody, in my opinion. So
that's the best advice, because everybody has their own little niche, and it's okay to try many times to figure out what that is and what makes you excited.
There's so many vet clinics out there and so many wonderful places to work. So don't get discouraged if you get some bad eggs, because every industry has them. But how, like, when I go talk to vet students, I think of worst case scenarios. Okay, let's play this out like Apollo Vet. I have transparently $1.2 million in debt out of both businesses and stuff. And so if everyone stops coming tomorrow and all my vets and all my stuff quits, like, okay, I'll be out of like money to pay for things very quickly. What happens then? Okay, then I got to call the bank. I'm probably going to get foreclosed on. They're going to sell everything. Whatever's left, I'm going to have to like take on debt. I'll probably file bankruptcy. That kind of sucks, especially on the financial side, you know.
You can still recover.
Yeah, I still recover. And then I could realistically probably within 2 to 4 weeks get like a 6-figure paying job somewhere. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
You'd be
like,
fine.
Yeah, it's like
You
not
would
the
turn
worst
out
world
okay.
in the world.
Yeah.
Like my ego would be hurt for sure.
Yeah.
But like compared to so many other jobs, like it's a pretty good industry to be in.
Absolutely. And the default rate is what? Like, you probably know the stats.
So Bank of America, I went to a conference with them recently. They said the default rate since 2020 has been 0% for them specifically.
Wow.
Nationwide, I think it's 0.18% default rate on startup loans. So
Wow.
that's why we can get loans for no money down, you know?
Right.
And so we're very, very good bet compared to like bars and restaurants, which are like 80 or 90%. So we are luckily in an industry that is respected, in demand. Hopefully we'll always be there. I don't see any pet ownership stopping kind of thing. And if you do it in an ethical and right way, like you can make good money. So yeah.
Well, we're really proud of you and happy to have you as a friend. And it's been fun watching you build all the amazing things and make such an impact in Austin, you know, our little home community. And you're always so happy and inspirational. So it's fun to watch you grow and to build something beautiful and amazing for you and all the other veterinarians and the pet people and pets that live here in Austin.
Appreciate you having on. Y'all are building something wonderful here too.
Oh, thank you. And where
Yeah,
can
we're
people
excited.
find you?
Yes.
You can find me at one of the clinics or
Please come.
I try to answer every direct message on Instagram, Dr. So Dr. Mike Walker. So yeah.
Dr. Mike Walker.
Yes.
We'll find you on the Instagram.
All right. Well, thanks so much for being on.
Thanks.
Until next time, let's stop revolving and start evolving.